Blake Shelton has a brand new album out called Body Language. The song was written by the Swon Brothers. We're going to get that whole story coming up. This episode of Connected with Kelly is sponsored by Pickers Vodka, proudly made in Nashville, Tennessee. So Pickers is a tribute to the musicians whose sounds fill the air in Music City. Pickers Vodka is distilled 11 times from non-GMO corn, and it's gluten-free. My new favorite is the Pickers Unplugged Vodka Soda. They're in cans. They are only 96 calories, 0 carbs, great flavors. You need to give them a try. Visit pickersvodka.com to find out more or to order online. You're watching Connected with Kelly, and today we're talking to the Swon Brothers. Zach and Colton were on The Voice years ago. They've been touring and doing music ever since. And now they are a part of Blake Shelton's brand new album, Body Language. The guys wrote the song and they are featured on the song, performing with Blake. There's an incredible story that goes along with this, and it is one heck of a roller coaster ride. So get ready. Let's get connected with the Swon Brothers. Hey, everybody, I'm so excited I get to talk to Chris Stapleton and Matthew McConaughey. Guys, how are you? You
I
look great.
I wish.
What a zinger. I'll take Matt McConaughey. Hero. Come on.
I mean, it truly, you look like you're just doing a little, you're hanging out on the beach. You've got this leafy palm behind you. I'm so excited. I'm happy about all of this.
I'm at my in-laws. I'm hiding from dogs. They're everywhere and they're loud. And this is the calmest place, I think.
That's okay. That's all right. I like it. Congratulations. First of all, I haven't talked to y'all in a hot second. I think it was just a few weeks into quarantine, maybe, when we spoke last. And we all thought, okay, well, we got a couple more weeks of this. Who knew? What was your quarantine like? Obviously, you were working music and you got some really good stuff that came out of it. Give me all the details. Zach, you go first.
I'm gonna do something very unprofessional. I'll just spit out my gum real quick. Quarantine was crazy. I think at first, like you said, we were very like I don't know what the word is, but I guess hopeful that it wasn't going to last that long. And a month goes by, 2 months go by. It gets kind of okay. Well, we have to figure out something to do for work, and it's really crazy how much we depended on shows. In a way, I'm kind of thankful for this because it made us reach for other things, and explore other avenues of life that generate income, but also that we ended up being really passionate about and that we're doing together. I mean, we've, had a chance to produce 2 or 3 records together for other people. We've been writing a ton. We put out our new music. We're actually going back in the studio this Friday and cutting some more songs. So we've been just constantly staying creative and busy. And sometimes when you're on the road that much, I mean, since The Voice, I don't know that there's been a weekend that we haven't been on the road really. And that's, 6-7 years ago. And so, being forced to slow down, I'm sure a lot of people experience this, but being forced to slow down kind of makes you recharge and get back to pen to paper and do some things that you normally don't set aside time to do. So that was one aspect of it, but we drove each other crazy and we figured out new ways of touring. I mean, we went to people's driveways, where there was no contact whatsoever. We set up a sound system in the back of the truck and did private shows in driveways and sang and collected a check with gloves or PayPal or whatever, and then got back out of there. So it was a new experience, but even that is something that we both said, we may adapt this to be something that's not just a quarantine thing, because it was a different take on songs. It was a different take on fan interaction. There was a couple times where like, where are we? Like where
But
did we just
those are the
drive to?
stories, man. Those are the stories that number 1, you're always gonna have that you're gonna love and remember. And number 2, that your fans, oh my gosh, what about the chance to have you come and do a tailgate tour at their location or, where there are just maybe a few people that get to hang out and that is so intimate and such a connection. Like those fans are lifelong fans now, forever.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. They're always the first ones to comment on Facebook. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like it's something that we talked like we'll probably continue to do after this, like the tailgate tour stuff. Other than getting locked in the basement of the one guy's house, it went really well.
I don't even know if that's like a joke or if that's real because there was a little bit of a look in your eye that I'm like, did that didn't really happen.
No,
Actually, Colton is still there right now, as you can see.
uh,
Send help.
yeah, it'd be awesome to come home, but yeah, and and to be honest, like aside from like the music stuff, what we did, like we had, I'm just gonna get real here, like the worst fights I've ever had with my wife. We've been married 3 years. It was stupid political fights. It was a lot of takeout and but it was so fun. This is the most time I've ever spent with my wife because she tours as well, and it was interesting, and we I didn't realize how much I would, like my brother said, we didn't realize how much we'd like producing other people's records, and I man, that is really cool to help someone else's like musical, aspirations come to life. Like that was really fun. That's something I'm looking forward to doing more of.
I'm really glad that you guys are helping out Blake Shelton. He's an upcoming artist. I feel like he has a bright future. And the fact that you would reach out to somebody like that and you would help them, that's good. That's good. You guys are generous. You have big hearts.
We figure we take a chance on him. He shows a lot of potential, and I think if he keeps at it, he's going to do something. He'll be around.
We'll see. We'll see. How did this song come about? Body Language not only being, you know, an incredible single for Blake that's going to be out, but it's the name of the album too, which that's the dream, right? If you're going to co-write with somebody, you want to get an album cut. You hope it's going to be a single, but then to find out it's going to be the name of the album, like that's the icing on the cake.
Well, it's really crazy. It's kind of a long drawn out story from our perspective because so much had to happen for this to work. And I'll kind of touch on the bullet points, and I'll let my brother chime in too. So early 2018, probably, probably February or March. If I went and looked at the files, I would know exactly. But we we wrote this song with Matt McGinn and Ryan Beaver, and day one we didn't finish it, which is very not. That's not like us and Matt, and that was our first time writing with Ryan actually. But usually we'll go in for 2 or 3 hours and we'll come out with a song, whether it's good or not, we don't know. But we just kind of had like every other line here and there, and we're like, you know what? We spent 5 hours on it. Um, let's just come back tomorrow. We all happened to have a free day, and we came back and we finished it. And and even then we were like, oh, it's okay, and it wasn't until we recorded it, we had it ready for us to release. We had it recorded, mixed, mastered, and everything, which happened months later. It was probably September, August, and we were about 2 weeks out from uploading this and putting it on all the platforms. And we sometimes our friends in this business, we just like getting their opinion. People who've been around and have done it. And the first person we sent it to was Carrie Underwood.
Drop it.
And
drop it. You dropped it.
Yeah, dropped it. And she actually said, guys, you should really think about pitching this song. And we'd never thought about it. I mean, we've never pitched a song to anybody, to be honest. We write for ourselves, and that's just kind of how we've always looked at it. And so we were like, okay. And also there was kind of like two working titles here. And body language was actually in parentheses, and uh the other title was, I can't remember what it is now without saying a word or something. And she was like, by the way, you should definitely call it body language. I'm like, okay, well, Carrie says it, the queen, she makes the rules, so and even after that, we didn't consciously try to pitch the song. I know everybody thinks, that Blake is doing this solid, which he is for sure. But we try to keep our relationship with Blake very, very friendly. We don't want to be those guys that are like, "Hey, do this for us," or "Listen to this song," or "Hey, man, you should cut this song." We want to respect him, and he's been a friend to us, so that's kind of, we want to respect those boundaries, and so we did it the right way, and we sent it to Scott Hendricks, his producer.
Mhm.
And what people don't know about this is Scott, years ago, he was the first guy that ever let open an ear to us in Nashville when we were 9 and 12 years old. He was the president of Virgin Records, and we literally walked in with guitars and got kicked out and went back. And my brother asked to sing for the secretary, and Scott Hendricks just happened to be walking down having lunch, and he heard us, and he was like, "Well, I want to hear what you have next year. Come back." And he gave us his number, and next summer we called him, and our parents took us back, and we did that for years. I mean, that turned into our family vacation, is just getting, opinions from Scott Hendricks. Is the only phone number we had in Nashville. And he was brutally honest. I mean, even when we were that young, he's like, "You guys might be around in 20 years." He's like, you need some time. And for a 12-year-old to hear, "Wait 20 years," that was pretty just crushing, to be honest. I mean, that seemed like a lifetime. But throughout all the years, I mean, I bet we've sent every song we've ever written to him. And sometimes it's like, you're getting better, or sometimes it's like, "Hey, this sucks. Don't show it to anyone." And I appreciate him so much for that. He didn't waste your time, and he didn't waste his, for sure. And he's to the point, and it helped us. It developed us into better artists and writers. And so anyways, we sent it to Scott, and he said, "Hey, have you guys thought about pitching this?" Basically what Carrie said. And we're like, "No, I mean, we were really just trying to get some feedback on the song. What do you have in mind?" And he's at Warner Brothers now, so our wheels are just turning. We're like, "What?" And Blake never crossed our mind, to be honest. And he's like, "I'm going to put this in the Blake pile, but I'm not making you any promises." He's like, "You're competing against some heavy hitters, but we like it, or I like it." And so then months went by, we heard nothing. I mean, this is 3 years ago, so this has been a long wait, but we heard nothing. And we were watching the championship football game. And well, actually, I'll tell you this, Colton, you can, if you want to interject here and tell about our come to Jesus meeting. We were just at a really low spot. I'll say that. This was, back in 18, and there was some stuff that had happened on the road that we're just like, man, full transparency, we were ready to just hang it up. There was just parts of the business that we just didn't want to deal with anymore. And we said, "Look, we had this conversation, and we cried. I mean, not to get too deep, but like, we're always going to love music, but we're tired of trying to please certain people, and literally the next day, Scott called and was like, "Hey, we just cut your song." And it was crazy. It was exactly what we needed, and I think it was God's timing, and kind of giving us a little pat up there. And not only that, he said, "Blake wants your vocals, and he wants the guitar tone that you used, and all the stuff." So then it turned into us like doing a session, and recording our parts for Blake's version, and it was just, man, it is exactly what we needed at the time. And we 2 years later, we just kept waiting. We're like, what's happening? I mean, after we recorded it, we were like, okay, I guess it's never happening, because there was like 5 other songs that came out, and it's really crazy because we had no idea. I mean, up until and my brother can vouch for this. Are you making fun of me because I'm rambling?
No, I'm doing dogs away. Sorry.
Oh, it just is it means a lot to us, because we I don't know, we hadn't heard anything in forever. And in Nashville, we've kind of learned, don't get your hopes up until it happens. It's just one of those things. Like, there's so many times that we're like, man, we got a record deal, or we got a publishing deal, or we got a tour, and then someone gets fired and it screws up the whole thing, or whatever. It's just like one of those things. And so we really didn't. We were like, okay, you know what? Let's just hope that it makes the record. Let's just hope that he makes a record. Because up until now, you're reading interviews like, I don't know if I'm gonna put out an album or whatever. And so literally, like, a couple days before they announced the whole album, Blake texted us, and he's like, hey, did you guys hear about my album? We were at a Mexican restaurant, and we both look at the text, and I know me and Colton felt the same thing, because I could see it on his face. We both just kind of got sick. We're like, oh, he's not doing a record, or it didn't make it, or whatever. And we looked at each other and we're like, what is this going to be, man? And we're like, no, what's up? He said, well, I just thought y'all should know that you have the title track. I was like, oh my gosh. We were crying and hugging in a Mexican restaurant, couldn't finish our food. I mean, we were just over the moon. And 2 days later, Scott called and said, hey, Blake wants to featuring the Swon Brothers. And I was just like, man, this is, what a week, So it's been a process. Sorry that was so long and drawn out, but it's crazy.
But you know what? Here's the thing people I don't think understand. If you're not in Nashville, if you're not in the music industry, first of all, to have a song put on hold, people, when you're a new artist and you've not had anything like that, that feels like the biggest win ever. Like, somebody wants to cut my song. But having a song put on hold doesn't mean that they're going to cut it. Doesn't mean that they're going to put it on their album. Doesn't even mean that it'll ever see the light of day. And it can be on hold indefinitely. I mean, like, I've had friends that have had, a quote soft hold for 5 years. And so here's the follow-up question logistically for me was, because you guys were so close to putting that out yourselves, you didn't put it out, did you? Did you pull it and hold it? Because then you couldn't. So, like, here you have this final product of this great song that everybody obviously really loves, that you're sitting on, that you can't put out for yourselves. And it might possibly be a big thing for Blake, and it might not. I mean, the roller coaster is like, it's insane. It's an insane ride.
It is. It is an up and down emotional ride. And I think it being Blake and us just being bros with him, like, we didn't care how long it took. It was an honor. And, we were excited. Like you said, a hold does not mean a cut, but man, we were just excited for a hold. Like, we thought that this may be a new direction in our career that we have not dove into yet. And it just gave us a little hope of just kind of expanding who we are in business. And so that was really cool. And yeah, when you play it for people and they're like, man, you guys should release that. And it's ready to go. And you're like, well, but we didn't care, man. It's freaking Blake Shelton. And I tell you, once we heard his vocals on it, I would wait till another 10 years, because when I have kids someday, they're going to hear a song that I wrote with his voice on it. And I would wait forever for that, because he's an icon.
When you look at this now, and I love the fact, Zach, that you were saying, it happened right when we needed it. We got to a point when it was like, okay, we need something to let us know if we're on the right track. What can we do? What are we going to do? Are we going to pivot? And then you get this answer what did that then turn into? Because like you said, that was 2018. So when you kind of got that little affirmation that, Blake likes it and we're going to cut it, what did that piece of hope offer you? And what happened after that?
Well, if I'm being real honest, I wish I could go into, the things that led to us having that conversation, but I don't want to throw people under the bus, but there was just a lot of stuff happened that we're like, we're not made for this. We have kind of stuck to our guns, and we are who we are. And so, you know, the conversation that my brother and I had was, I mean, we were literally stranded in a hotel room with no way to get home, and probably at our lowest point, since starting this journey. Um, and I mean, I'll be honest, we were hugging and crying and saying, you know, we'll figure it out. Let's do this our way. Let's not play this game anymore. I mean, we talked about, going back to Oklahoma. I mean, we had all kinds of, it's not that we were wanting to give up. We were just wanting to give up the route that we were taking, and we had a long prayer. I mean, I'll be honest, we prayed together in a hotel room in South Carolina or something like that. And we said, man, we need some answers. We need some direction. And um, it's just crazy how precise the timing was. It was the next day. And it just seemed like a weight was lifted. And it was, I know I'm getting really emotional. This should be like a, hey, let's party and celebrate moment, which we'll do all that too. But we know, this is a bigger plan than what we had. Everything about it. From us writing the song to who actually cut it, and the story of how we got there, and how we went from just hoping that we had a cut somewhere on the record to him saying, hey, you got the title track. I mean, there was also a time where we were trying to figure out some business decisions, and Blake FaceTimed us, and because we had thought about, we hadn't heard a lot. We had thought about publishing deals. We thought about this stuff and this stuff, and he FaceTimed us and was like, look, I wouldn't sign anything. He's like, if I had what you guys had coming up with this song, he's like, just be patient, boys. I promise, it's gonna pay off. And I think he's right. I think it's gonna be good. We're already a lot farther along than we thought with this song. So, yeah, we're super pumped. It was exactly what we needed to hear. And it's not even about a success thing or if the song is big. It's just like you said, it just gave us confirmation that we're in the right industry.
Well, and I mean, the roller coaster is such a big ride, and you guys have already been on it for a long time. I think too, it's very interesting, and I've heard this from so many people. So many people say they get to a point to where they finally say, you know what, I'm just doing it my way. I'm not going to hold on so tight. I'm not white knuckling it anymore. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to do what I need to do. And that's when things start to happen. And I kind of feel like it seems like that's where you guys are now, that you're in this really great position to go, we can do things our way. We understand how the music industry works. We've been here and we've been white knuckling it for so long. We're about to just release, and what comes.
When I say, or my brother says, my way, not to get too spiritual here, but honestly, we just chalked it up, man, we got to do it God's way. Like, because he's never led us astray. And it's like everything from the text from Carrie to, like calling it body language to, the timing of when we got a call, like it's so orchestrated, and we can't deny that there's a bigger hand in this. And it seems like when you worry about that, everything else just falls into place. And and that's who we are as people. And I'm not gonna be sorry for it, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that's the best song we've ever written. That's we did it our way, and that's why it worked out. No, absolutely not. Like we're absolutely blessed, and thank God for Blake Shelton and Scott Hendricks and everybody that listens to country music.
So what's next? What happens next? I mean, I know the Blake album's coming out. It's gonna go to #1, so that's great, and we'll get to have a party for it, so that's great. What happens with you guys? Are you putting out new music? Obviously, you've been working on stuff.
Yeah, we're cutting this Friday, and we've kind of let go of the stress of like, man, when do we release music? What do we release? We're having fun. Like we may be going in Friday. I think we're cutting a gospel song that we wrote that we feel really strong about. I think, which we've never done. We may be cutting a cover that just one of our favorite covers from, who knows when. We're still kind of deciding. It's fun trying to pick out. And then we got a song that I think is just perfect, for country radio. Just so it's kind of, we're just having fun. We're doing what we love to do, and we're not putting rules or boxes on it. And we're enjoying the process. And we may be putting some videos out. Things we're putting out new Swon. We haven't put out Swon Brothers merch in like 4 years, and we put out this new T-shirt that people are going crazy. We can't order enough of them. It's fun. Like we're just having fun doing business, and which we haven't felt that in a long time. So
That's good. That's really, really good. That's really, really good. Guys, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. All good things. Friends, thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh,
right.
thank you.
All
Have
right.
fun at the bird sanctuary. And Zach, whenever you come out of your
Bird sanctuary.
Could you hear all the little like tweet tweet tweets? It's so pretty.
That is hilarious.
Matthew
Well,
McConaughey.
none of my animals make noise.
No.
Yeah.
You guys aren't even catching. I'm over back here saying, all right.
It just makes me so happy. I could not be happier for you both. That just does my heart so much good.
Well, back at you. I hope you and your family are well. We all need to hang soon.
Yes. We're doing good things. Love talking to them. Zach and Colton, the Swon Brothers. You can hear that new song featuring their voices. It's Body Language, out now. Blake Shelton's name of his album as well. Guys, let me know your favorite Swon Brothers song. You can put it below. Make sure that you are signed up and subscribed so that you will be a part of our family. Hit that bell and you'll be notified every time that we put out a brand new video. Until then, make sure that you are staying connected with all the people and things you love the most. Bye.